Welcome to another episode of the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing. This week, the Secretary of Finance and the Economy, Joel Jack, addresses the media.
As Secretary of Finance, let me start by extending a hearty congratulations to the Trinidad and Tobago men's 4x400 meter relay team for the exceptional achievement at the World Athletic Championships in London last Sunday. I believe it's a proud moment for all of us, especially us here in Tobago and in Trinidad. And special commendation is also extended to the son of the soil, Mr. Alan Gordon, who ran the anchor leg of the race and who brought the goal home. I think Tobagonians, we are still in a moment of jubilee. And we say well done to Mr. Gordon and to the rest of the team. To all team members, Jarin Solomon, Jareem Richards, Sir Marshall Sideno, and of course, Alan Gordon, let me encourage them to continue to fly the Trinidad and Tobago, our flag very high on the world stage. Let me say also special mention to Mr. Jareem Richards. I believe, he's the next big item in the world of athletics in the 200 meters race. I believe it was not for that challenge in the start, he would have brought home the gold. Let me commend all of them. You have achieved much, not only for yourselves, but for every citizen of this nation. And as we are mere days away from our 55th independence anniversary, I think it's an early gift to the nation. And again, a job well done to these four gentlemen. On another note, I wish to highlight, and reporters might have been aware that the IMF team, as part of the National Article 4 consultation, that a team from the IMF, led by Mr. Eli Canetti, advisor of the Western Hemisphere Department, that they were on the island to conduct the annual Article 4 consultations. You may recall that some time ago that Tobago has been included, I think it's since 2014 that Tobago has been included in the Article 4 consultations. And these consultations provide a platform to assess recent macroeconomic developments within Trinidad and Tobago. And the nation's socioeconomic climate is examined, potential vulnerabilities to the national economy. They are also identified, and the development of medium-term projections for key economic variables, they are also sought. And our fiscal and monetary policy, they are also evaluated. The consultation offers Trinidad and Tobago the privilege, the opportunity for us to continue the participation in these international surveillance arrangements, as well as to communicate the nation's economic policy agenda to the IMF and other international investors. Some of the matters that were discussed that of particular importance to Tobago include the Assembly's budgetary process, the Assembly's fiscal operations, the state and performance of the tourism industry. We also looked at, in relation to the state of the industry, the tourism investments that we should see coming to Tobago over the next 12 to 24 months. We also examined the current state of the Tobago economy and its fiscal relation to central government, the Tobago House of Assembly's response to the current economic challenges facing Trinidad and Tobago. We also looked at our medium-term development plans, and as well we discussed continuous technical support through the Caribbean Regional Technical Assistance Center, CARTAC, as we seek to firm up the estimation of this island's GDP. I also wish to announce today that the Caribbean Development Bank, a team from the bank, is here on the island as we undertake a series of public-private partnership sensitization sessions and also candidate project assessments. These sessions will take place this week at the Victor E. Bruce Financial Complex, and they are facilitated by representatives from the Caribbean Development Bank and an external consultant through the World Bank's Public-Private Partnership Regional Support Mechanism. These sessions will run from Tuesday, August 15th to Friday, 18th August 2017. This exercise includes an overview of the PPP modality for decision makers at the Executive Council, and we just finished wrapping up a session with these representatives. It also includes a session for administrators, all administrators across the assemblies, and other key stakeholders in the Tobago private sector. The CDB team is also conducting capacity building sessions for senior officers in the Assembly's public implementation units and our development project teams aimed at increasing awareness of what are the necessary requirements for viable PPP projects. These working sessions have been designed to facilitate the initial assessment of 6 candidate projects that may have outlined sometime in the past, and the objective will be to determine the viability of these pilot projects for fiscal 2017-2018. I must stress that these assessments are not feasibility studies. They are a review of the 6 initial projects and to determine their suitability for the PPP modality, or should an alternative financing mechanism be recommended. The CDB team has scheduled meetings with the following divisions involved in the 6 initial projects, and these projects include a commercial cargo port at Cove, a marina, the upgrade of the Milford Road Esplanade, our housing program, a cancer care treatment center, and an urban transport hub in Scarborough. I must remind persons that the development of an effective framework for PPP involves a dynamic, iterative process supported by various functions within the Assembly. One of the key elements of this framework will include the selection, design, and the development of quote-unquote good projects, which requires that we ascertain the most appropriate and feasible projects for the use of the PPP modality. And I wish to thank the staff in the Division of Finance, especially the technical advisor, Ms. Small, for her hard work. Today I would like to share some highlights of the divisions undertaken at the recently concluded Trade and Investment Convention 2017. Let me commend the department, the sector development unit, for yet another year of notable success in our participation at this annual conference. You may recall that the conference, the convention that is, took place during the period of July 6th to the 9th at the Center of Excellence in Trinidad. The Tobago Pavilion and our contingent secured the best booth prize in the large booth category, and this is deemed as the most prestigious prize at the event. And I think this is the first time that the Tobago Pavilion and the Tobago booth that we have won this prize at the during our participation. Just to give some background with respect to this year's convention, in preparation for the event, and it started since last year, but in January 2017, we invited persons via the BDU's Facebook page, as well as several media releases through the Division of Communications, the Department of Communications and the Division of Finance, where we invited persons to send in their request and to signal their intent to be part of the Tobago contingent. This led to a series of workshops aimed at preparing businesses for the convention. And following this process, 8 businesses were selected to participate. These businesses included Keston Khalid Pope of Savor the Isle, and they are into punches and other drinks. June Alfred Rogers, Pinkberry Cosmetic, natural soaps, face and body products. Miss Sherry One of Seaweed Designs, handbags and fashion accessories. Avient Thomas, Oceania Designs, handbags and fashion accessories. Mr. Sunil Barton of Chisia's Fishing Services, he's into agro-processing. Miss Christine Holder, Shell Simple Solutions, Drapery and Home Accessories. Mr. Karen Duke, Tobago Media Concepts. Sophia Cooper, Cooper's S Production, Media, Videography and Internet. Also joining the 8 entrepreneurs, we also had the Eco-Industrial Development Company of Tobago, EIDCOT, and the Division of Tourism. Let me also inform the media that a formal follow-up meeting with participants has been scheduled for this Friday, August 18th, as we continue to work and support not only the participants of TIC, following the event, but we continue to work as we seek to develop various sectors here on the island. There's a couple of outcomes coming out of TIC. One participant is in discussions with a potential investor and has also been contacted by a major regional distributor based in Trinidad, and I am informed that discussions are ongoing. Another participant has been afforded the opportunity to work with the Tourism Authority of one of our Caribbean neighbors in promoting their destination via one of their major events. Another participant has been approached by a major retailer in Trinidad, exploring the possibility of buying their products wholesale. Another participant received an offer from a CARICOM country, and they are currently exploring these opportunities. I'm also informed that participants have also been offered potential distributorships, and as such, we have been in contact with these entities who are interested in working with our young and fledgling entrepreneurs in these areas. And let me say again overall that TIC was a success, and we continue to work and support the various entrepreneurs for them to build on these initial contacts and to cement some of these links. I also wish to update persons as it relates to the fashion industry. At the Big House of Assembly, we continue to recognize the untapped potential of the creative sector, and we continue to seek partnerships and areas where we can strengthen and stimulate the growth of this sector while building the capacity of entrepreneurs in the fashion business. In keeping with this mandate, the Sector Development Unit in the Division of Finance and Economy collaborated with Fashion TT and NEDCO in hosting the Business of Fashion workshop on the 27th of July, late last month. In addition to facilitating the this workshop, interviews were conducted with these agencies, and we facilitated 5 Tobago designers. And on the 28th, they participated in the Fashion TT's Value Chain Investment Incubator Program. And this program is facilitated by NEDCO. The incubator program, it's a 1-year program, and will assist participants in developing the business side of the operations by providing the necessary training as well as financial support towards the development of their product. Topics covered in the all-day workshop included fashion forecasting for merchandising, defining a distinct brand identity, sales planning, visual merchandising, effective public relations for brand success, supply chain management, distribution and logistics, the best use of media for business, social media, traditional media, and trade media. And there was also a buyer's meeting, what buyers are looking for. Let me say that I am highly appreciative and encouraged by the efforts of Fashion TT and their support and special attention that they are giving to Tobago's talented and innovative fashion designers. And for this, I wish to thank Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Scoon for her support in facilitating this support and close working relationship. As such, I am hopeful for favorable outcomes as it relates to Tobago fashion designers in the not too distant future. And in this regard, I know that we have a couple of success stories, and who knows, the next big fashion label or fashion house might be coming out of Tobago in the not too distant future. It was also last week on Friday that I met with the Honorable Senator, Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Paula Gopi-Scoon, as we continue to meet and plan and strategize to see how we can facilitate a number of Tobago's products penetrating the export market, and for us to have a closer working relationship. I also wish to provide an update this afternoon as it relates to the automated clearing house and the progress throughout the divisions. The ACH, as it's commonly called, is a program that we are now using in the Tobago House of Assembly to improve efficiency in the payments to our internal and external stakeholders. I'm happy to inform the media that it was just recently that the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation utilized the ACH to pay their diluted employees for the first time. I think it was the last fortnight. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, they're also aiming to achieve this feat at the beginning of the new fiscal year. And efforts are being made to address the challenges faced by the Division of Food Production and Fisheries to implement this system. And we are happy that at least 5 other divisions have utilized the system as it relates to their diluted employees. If you may recall, in terms of the monthly paid employees across the division, this system is currently in place. You may recall that coming out of the Tobago House of Assembly's pre-budget discussions, a commitment was given to continue our consultation with stakeholders after the budget. I'm pleased to announce that over the next 4 weeks I'll be meeting with some of the stakeholders to cement some of the proposals that were advanced during the pre-budget discussions. And already some of the stakeholders, they would have forwarded in writing their proposals and some of their plans, suggestions and ideas. And I look forward to meeting these stakeholders ahead of the the national budget as we continue to plan and as we continue to manage the affairs of Tobago and the Tobago economy in a prudent manner.
In light of the situation involving truckers, etc., with the Cabo Star and the situation at present with the Cabo Star, different situations, in terms of Tobago's economy, have you seen or observed a dive in Tobago's economy? Is Tobago's economy on a good footing? And what are your expectations for the upcoming national budget presentation? Will Tobago get what Tobago wants?
Well, in terms of the situation with the Cabo Star, I've been in consultation with a couple of our entrepreneurs here on the island and business persons who will utilize the service. The feedback I've been getting as it relates to the Cabo Star has been positive. I was informed of one or two minor issues, but in terms of the boat, one feedback that I received was that one business person, he was really impressed with the boat, and you know, they are utilizing the service. I think the challenge has been in terms of the ferry service and the challenges that we are experiencing, and first have a speedy resolution. And I'm heartened by the initiative of the Prime Minister to convene a consultation next week, and I believe during that meeting plans will be outlined in terms of the way forward, in terms of resolving the issue with the ferry service. But as I'm informed that the Cabo Star is really providing an effective service, we have one or two teething problems with respect to, I think the AC was down last week, but in terms of the excess capacity and the service, you know, the feedback that I've received thus far is positive. I anticipate that there will be some fallout in terms of the predictability of persons who are seeking to come across to Tobago to enjoy well, I can't say summer, we're not in, but the July-August vacation period. And you know, the challenges, and I have heard some numbers bandied about, but I have not received any formal notification from members of the chamber in terms of the you know, what the numbers are, but I would anticipate that there would be some fallout. As it relates to the national budget, let me say that we have to place the budget in context against the backdrop of declining oil and energy prices and declining oil and gas production. And as the IMF indicated in the Article 4 media release, we are not out of the woods as yet, but they project that at the end of the year that we should see a turnaround. And I think in the Tobago House of Assembly, we continue to manage with reduced resources. You might recall that our allocation this year, in comparison to last year, saw a decrease of over 400. I think the exact figure was $440 million. Sorry. If you place that in larger context, it might have been as closer to over $600 million, or $500 million might be conservative estimate. And with that said, as the key driver of economic activity on the island and with reduced resources, we have to do more with less and to manage effectively. You might recall that we took a decision in the Assembly at the level of the Executive Council, even in the face of declining reduced allocations, to ensure that we maintain employment levels across the Assembly. And what we are also seeking to do is to increase the levels of productivity across the island, to ensure that we remain competitive, to ensure that we provide the necessary services to that will support economic diversification, to provide the necessary support to entrepreneurs, to the private sector. And that is why we continue to play our part in the Tobago House of Assembly through a number of initiatives to facilitate economic diversification. As it relates to the upcoming budget, you know, we are faced by a perennial shortfall on the development program side historically. And then what we are seeking the support that we are looking for in the upcoming budget. As I place the upcoming budget in context of reduced oil and reduced revenues as a result of depressed oil and gas prices and reduced oil and gas output, what we're seeking to have is the support from the Minister of Finance for us to explore alternative financing mechanisms. And I'm confident that coming out of this year's budget, the Minister will signal his support for the Tobago House of Assembly to engage in some of these transactions. And I'm fairly optimistic, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that of the current economic environment that we're operating in and the current challenges that the country is faced with. And as I've said before, we are willing to share in the sacrifices that have to be made as we seek to turn around this nation's economy. And we're also willing to play our part in facilitating economic diversification. And I continue to make this point that any investment in Tobago is an investment in national economic development. And as it relates to the tourism industry, I think we're all excited about the introduction investment here in Tobago in terms of the Sandals projects, and that project being a game changer. And in terms of the I think some of the reporters here, you would have had a first-hand visit to Grenada La Source and the impact that Sandals, the impact of Sandals on the Grenada economy, and in terms of our farmers, our artisans, in terms of employment creation, I think all the prospects point to a positive impact for the Tobago economy in terms of foreign exchange, earnings, and so on. So we are fairly optimistic.
Could you confirm or deny whether there was a $600 million cut to the fourth quarter allocation for the Tobago House of Assembly?
$600 million? No, that's not accurate.
Was there a cut any at all?
No, we got the subvention for the third quarter by the Ministry of Finance. The challenge with the fourth quarter is it's what we call the revenue set-off. We received $40 million less than we applied for. But what happens is that we have the revenues that we collect in Tobago on behalf of the central government, that is also factored in and netted off against our allocation. So we anticipate, and then in the fourth quarter, I think we receive, and I think someone was trying to create some confusion. In the fourth quarter, we receive a supplemental release from the Ministry of Finance because of the revenue set-off, that revenue set-off protocol that we have with the Ministry of Finance. So it's not that we were short $600 million. If that was the case, but that is misinformation.
How was the fourth quarter released late?
Yes, it was a bit late, later than expected. And I spoke to the Minister of Finance. He was totally surprised that that we were not in receipt of it, and following our conversation, he intervened. But let me say that you might recall, whereas in the past, we had these challenges we had these severe challenges, and when the country, during that 2010 to 2015 period, when we had all the necessary financial resources, during this period again, we have our economic slowdown and the economic challenges. So, but let me thank the Minister of Finance, and we continue to work together as a team, both in Trinidad and in Tobago, as we seek to ensure that the Assembly is resourced, and we work together as we seek alternative financing mechanisms to advance Tobago's development.
Thank you for staying with us for the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for the week ending August 19th, 2017.